Happy Ad 7 Day, everyone. New viewers to the channel might not be aware that I am a ravenous Mass Effect fan. Those three games really mean something to me, and I'm incredibly excited about Mass Effect 4. That being said, this isn't a news and rumor channel, so we need to find something else to talk about, and today that will be one of my favorite characters. I've spoken on Tali and Legion's journey to Geth acceptance in the Mass Effect universe, along with recapping all three games and covering Citadel. But today, it's time for someone else that I think is just a fantastic character. No points for guessing right if you've read the title, as I want to discuss Subject Zero, better known as Jack. Expect spoilers for everything that touches Jack's character arc in both Mass Effect 2 and 3 here, although admittedly it's pretty light on the actual plot of those games. I don't want to talk about it, I want to be about it, so let's go. In Mass Effect 2, you will spend the majority of the game recruiting a crew of exceptional people who will be willing to follow us into the jaws of death as we charge headfirst into the Collector homeworld. There will be returning faces such as Tali and Garrus who will once again join us on the Normandy, along with Rex and Liara who will help in their own way. We find Mordin running a clinic trying to cure a plague no one else cares about. Garrus is holed up all alone fighting off the worst Omega has to offer. Samara is chasing a dangerous criminal across the galaxy. And then we get to Jack. We find Jack in a prison ship, one so violent that, as described by one inmate, killing 20 people barely qualifies you for entry. Right from the start, the mission is different from all the others. Everyone you talk to is tense, wound up tight, and ready for a fight in a moment's notice. From the guards to the inmates themselves, everyone here is a hardened individual ready for a scrap should you want one. They also share a similar fear, a fear of Jack. Commander Shepard at this point is a known commodity galaxy-wide, the first human Spectre, the hero of the Citadel, the soldier who couldn't be killed. Even knowing who Shepard is, the Warden isn't threatened by him, respecting his status but feeling confident that he can handle it should it come down to it. But the simple mention of Jack is enough to run a shiver up his spine. This is the only time we see him lose his composure during our time speaking to him, and frankly, it's unnerving. We have this guy who we talked about earlier. He's killed over 20 people. He begs us to buy him and take him with us, saying that nothing we could do to him could be worse than what happens in this prison. But he quickly changes his tune when he finds out we're here for Jack. When the Warden betrays us, we have to fight our way to our would-be teammate, and removing the stasis lock, we get our first look at Subject Zero.
That's Jack.
Frankly, she seems more animal than human in these first encounters, and the Cerberus logo on her ship seems to have her more upset than being trapped in cryo. Even with the station primed to explode and us having the only way off in our control, you still have to convince her to come aboard. The combination of confidence and utter lack of trust in strangers tied with unparalleled biotic ability is a formidable combination. She has some kind of history with Cerberus, and her price for coming aboard is access to the database. Bargaining with your only chance to live is a bold maneuver, and I like it. Jack will butt heads immediately with Miranda, and it's not hard to understand why, but for today, I promised Jack the files, and so Miranda will be forced to hand them over. We may have to travel to the lower reaches of the ship to find her, but Jack will have softened a bit when we first get the chance to speak to her, genuinely grateful to us for both the files and I suspect for being truthful. This is short-lived, however, as we quickly return to the guarded and hostile Jack that we met, who explains she's going to take this info we gave her and go hunting, killing anyone who is responsible for her. Jack explains that she was in fact raised by Cerberus in a research facility, which is how she got the name Subject Zero, and now that I think about it, probably how Cerberus had a dossier on her in the first place. It will take a while to really get to know Jack, but for now she leaves us with this.
I figure every time someone dies and it's not me, my chances of survival go up. Simple.
We dig deeper with each conversation, finding a little bit more every time about how she spent her time since escaping the Cerberus facility. Crime mostly, killing, stealing, running with gangs, and even joining a cult, which explains the haircut. Although the interesting note there was that she admits she joined them looking for answers, only to turn on them when she figured out they were just using her for her power. Her distrust in people runs deep, but to be honest, from all we know about her, that distrust is well earned. Jack has lived a life where she's known nothing but pain, but betrayal and agony. Most wouldn't have survived such a life, and frankly, I'm guessing any who did would have ended up just like her. Although, she says it better than I could.
Do you ever wonder if you could have done things differently?
No.
Shouldn't you?
There's no reason I should be alive, but I am. You know why? Instinct. It's worked for me so far, and I'm not gonna change.
We get the sense that Jack isn't happy about the person she is. She's learned the hard way to be wary of people, but you can see in her history that no matter how many times she's been hurt, she's willing to try over and over again, to trust over and over again, which I think is commendable. The next time we speak to Jack, we find her in a panic, seemingly reliving her past, explaining more about the Cerberus facility she was raised in, where they created her. In her own words, they ran experiments on her, drugged her, tortured her, and now, after digging through the files, she's found the location of the facility. We offer to take this up with the Elusive Man, but she's not interested in listening to him deny it. The facility has been long since abandoned according to the files, and all she wants is to go there and destroy it, to wipe this painful memory off the map, and frankly, I can understand as we set course for the Telton facility on Pragia. Jack is immediately uncomfortable on our approach, but with a little reassurance, she recenters herself and we go in. We will walk through the facility as Jack recounts her time here and what it was like, but not everything was how she remembered it. Right from the start, we find a report that they were hiding things from the Elusive Man, showing the possibility that this wasn't all Cerberus's doing, at least not their intention. Then we get a little deeper and find the makeshift arena they used, and she describes how they would pit her against other kids.
I was a kid, filled with drugs. I got shocked when I hesitated. Narcotics flooded my veins when I attacked.
They actually rewarded you for attacking?
I still get warm feelings during a fight.
Frankly, that's a horrifying thing to do, but we get another look into why Jack is who she is, why fighting is such a positive experience for her. We then find a message in a terminal from when the riot broke out. It turns out while Jack thought she started the chaos, it was actually the other kids coming together in an escape attempt. We see firsthand as Jack starts to doubt her own origin story, but it's clear she's reluctant to accept it, although we do hear the vulnerability creep in here and there.
Back here, I feel like I'm pissed off. I'm a dangerous bitch, but then I'm a little girl again.
The puzzle pieces start to fit together as we learn more and more. Jack was right that the researchers did horrible things in an attempt to turn her into a biotic superweapon. What she didn't understand is that the other children were being used to trial the experiment she suffered through so that it wouldn't kill her. We fight through some hired mercenaries, but that's not important to our story. What is important is who hired them as we find a man named Aresh. It turns out he's another survivor, one of the children who was subject to the Telton facility, and what's unnerving is that after living through it, he wants to start it back up again. His reasoning is that all this suffering must have been worth something, that there had to be a reason, and it was worth continuing the work. I feel truly sorry for him, but we're not gonna torture children, dude. No? I don't know why I have to explain that. We get him out of there, but a fun fact, he did end up saving a bunch of people from the Reapers in Mass Effect 3. Jack walks us through her childhood room, sharing her painful memories before we plant the bomb and take off. Hats off to whoever did the mocap on Jack's facial features here, because it really does speak volumes without saying a word. I love the writing in Mass Effect because while you take a step with each character after their loyalty mission and you'll get closer to them, they don't simply change overnight. Jack acknowledges this. She's better today than she was yesterday, but it hasn't changed that much. Subject Zero still exists and isn't going away that easily. She says it herself, it follows you, it marks you in ways you don't expect. Setting off a bomb didn't make Jack's life easier, it didn't wipe away her past, but it might have given her a future, and for that she will follow Shepard. This, in theory, could be the end of your conversations with Jack, but should you want to pursue a relationship, you can go further, asking more, wanting to get to know her better. This will of course be rejected by her, as her past makes her reluctant to trust anyone so deeply, and interestingly enough, you actually get the option to sleep with her right here. But that's not the path to knowing Jack better. However, it's perfectly in line with her character, and I like that the option is there. Finishing both Jack and Miranda's loyalty missions will kick off a fight between them as Jack feels she's owed an apology and Miranda is the one she wants it from. The argument is short-lived, but you can defuse the situation without losing either of them, but it's certainly not pretty. Also, fun note, you can search the Shadow Broker's base for dossiers with more info on Jack, and it's interesting to see that she was essentially planning her exit strategy from the moment we got her on the ship. It's a nice little character detail. If you're willing to dig deeper, we find out why she's so afraid to love someone. It's better left to her.
Murtaugh, a guy, used me like the rest. For sex, for biotics. It was fun, and he ruined everything. We tagged a weapons frigate with a Batarian escort and got separated. He had a choice. Leave with the guns, or come back for me. Idiot dumped the score and waded into the squints. I made the shuttle, but no way he was getting out.
And?
I fly for a day or so, and then the shuttle kicks out this recording. He set it to play if he hadn't checked in. He figured that would mean he was dead. Talked about the future we were supposed to have. How he had planned to set us up a home. How he loved me and he was sorry it wasn't going to happen.
She's scared, but she wants to try and trust again, trapped by an upbringing as Subject Zero, but desperate to just be Jack. She will come to see you before the trip through the Omega 4 relay, and while it's true there's a sex scene here, that's not what's interesting. What's interesting is that this is the moment where she allows herself to feel again. And that's something we're seeing. BioWare made characters you can really come out and care about, and I love that. This will be the last we see of Jack more or less until we're a good way into Mass Effect 3, where we're called to help at Grissom Academy. We're drawn to the academy when Traynor realizes something isn't quite right and we head to investigate. Grissom is a school for advanced Alliance students who excel in biotics or engineering, and some of the advanced students opted to stay and train here when the war broke out. We find them behind their favorite instructor, Jennifer. Yeah, fun fact, Liara was able to find out that Jack's real name is Jennifer, so that's cool. Anyways, we find Jack protecting her students from a Cerberus attack on the station. Once we deal with the immediate threat, we actually get to chat with Jack, and who would have believed it? You can see that there's a real rapport between her and her students. They respect her, and she cares about them. It's a shocking shift in the moment, but in reality, one that makes all the sense in the world. She's certainly happy to see us, and we get a little backstory on how she ended up here. Offered the job by the Alliance while Shepard was in lockup for, killing those 300,000 people. It's clear that Jack has found her place in the universe helping these kids, but she's not too hot on the idea of putting them on the front lines. In theory, being a unit of frontline biotic hammers is cool, but she's matured and is willing to admit that they would be best in the back offering support. This speaks a lot to her character and how she's grown because frankly, the Jack we met would have never allowed herself to be in the back helping other people. It speaks to her love for her students. She sees them as a family and isn't willing to let them go trying to be heroes. She's even stopped swearing, which is fucking whack. While she may have softened her personality for her students, she hasn't lost her touch when it comes to unleashing incredible biotic potential when needed. We catch up with Jack on the Citadel when she gets some shore leave, and it's nice. She's a different person now. Happier, just better to be around. Finding a purpose in life can really and deeply change a person for the better, and that shows up here as her gratitude for recommending her squad used for support work. You can actually choose to let the kids fight on the front line, but it's not a happy ending, and we don't want that, so don't do it. She regrets that she can't join us on the Normandy, but hey, at least we have this right now. We do catch up during the Citadel DLC, and these are nice moments. Some of my favorites, actually, but they're about Shepard's relationship with Jack, not about her. The story of Jack is independent of any romantic relationship with Shepard. Her story is her journey from the person we found to the person she became. When we first see Jack, she's less a person and more of a weapon, filled full of hate and simply wanting to be pointed at her next target, something to be feared, a monster. And then we learn why she is the way she is. It's no accident, and it's not by any means who she wants to be, but she is burdened by her past, unable to change by herself. We found Subject Zero being exactly who they wanted her to be, but we saw that time and time again she had tried to be Jack and had been let down because of it. Every time she'd opened up and shown trust in somebody, she'd been let down, she'd been betrayed, or just ended up hurt. But her willingness to try again, her willingness to give it another go is what makes Jack so special. Jack is a message to keep going, to keep trying, to keep believing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. She was forged into a monster, something that could have been used only to destroy, but through her struggles found her place as a mentor to those who need her. I don't usually have a message in my videos, but today I do, and it's to keep going. I hope that you find your ocean, and happy N7 Day.
Break time's over, huh?
At least we threw one hell of a party. Probably the last one.
Knock that shit off. You're gonna blow the Reapers to hell. And then you're coming back and taking me out dancing. You know, for all the shit we've been through, we've had a damn good ride.
The best.
I know it's quick, but that'll be it for me. I'm sorry if I'm slow to respond to comments on this one. I'll likely be on a plane on my way to the Siege Major in Atlanta when this posts, and I'll be a bit busy. But not to worry, I made sure there'll be regular content for you while I'm away. Actually, I think it's very possible the best video I've ever made will be dropping on Friday, so look forward to that. That being said, if you haven't hit that sub button, please go ahead and do so. With that, I'm out. This is Purple signing off. Have a wonderful night, and always remember to smile. Thanks, guys.
So you're crazy, so what? That's practically stamped on the boarding pass for this mission.
It's just gonna hurt. Or you'll mess around. Or I'll end up killing you or something.
And?
And That sucks.
So it'll suck. But how much fun is it gonna be on the way?